Cyberpunk is the most futuristic game ever made, with the most futuristic graphics ever made, with the most futuristic characters ever made, with the most futuristic city ever made, with the most futuristic guns ever made, with the most futuristic future ever made, with the most futuristic... Okay, before I get started, I would like to give you guys a bit of a history lesson about Cyberpunk, if you will. Especially for those of you guys that don't know about the disaster that this game once was. So, here we go. I'm gonna try and speedrun this, so, bear with me. So Cyberpunk was initially announced in 2012, but was set to release in 2020. So innately, this game had insane hype. People said this game was going to be better than GTA 5, they said it was going to be better than Far Cry, they said it was going to be better than Shower with Your Dad Simulator, just all sorts of games, Then they dropped an E3 trailer, which was pretty cool, until I noticed in the trailer that some of the NPCs were just disappearing from existence, which is odd, but I was gonna let it slide. They also dropped a dope-ass cinematic trailer, and John Wick announced that he was going to be casted in the game. I mean, surely this was just a minor error and that they would fix all the issues, you know? They will remove all the problems, there'll be nothing bad about the game. Yeah, this game was ass. So ass, in fact, that this game got taken out of the PlayStation Store for being so ass. And because so many people wanted refunds. So naturally, I avoided this game, especially in 2020. But it's 2024 now. Things might have changed. Cyberpunk has got numerous updates, it got a really cool anime on Netflix, along with DLC that supposedly fixed all the problems with the game. I mean, they must have fixed a lot because this game looked terrible. Night City is pretty much futuristic Gotham because of its sky-high rate of violence and most people being below the poverty line. The city sucks in outsiders with bright neon lights and technological advancements and spits out drug-addicted, substance-abusing cyber psychos. The main protagonist, V, short for Vincent or Valerie, depending on what gender you pick, has 3 different lore options. But I chose the street kid, so I was born and raised in Night City and later became a mercenary with our best friend. For street cred and for money. They later wound up working for Mark Henry, and Mark Henry wants you to retrieve a relic from Arasaka, which is a company and family that runs the entire city. The mission goes a little shaky, causing you to escape in a drastic fashion, but you make it out alive with the relic in your head, but your best friend doesn't feel so good. You bring the relic back to Mark Henry, and in return, he kills you. Or so you think. Now this is where it gets a little confusing, guys, so bear with me. Little did you know, the relic or biochip brings you back to life, but it also didn't, and it's also killing you, and you have a few weeks to live. In addition, Keanu Reeves is in your head because of the biochip, but he's not his own entity. He acts as a memory of the real Keanu Reeves, who was a rockstar legend / terrorist because he went on a mission to blow up Arasaka Tower. Also note that the man who saved you at a junkyard is a former bodyguard for Arasaka, and who also wants you to expose how corrupt the company is, because the man who killed the owner was his own son. And man, this game is confusing as fuck, oh my god. One of the main problems with this game is how hard it is to get into it, especially with the weight of characters this game drops on you so early on. You got Jackie Wells, Victor Vector, Dexter Deshawn, Claire Russell, Meredith Stout, Misty Olszewski, Evelyn Parker, Judy Alvarez, Pan Am Palmer, Adam Smasher, Goro Takamura, Roga Mendiers, Hanako Arasaka, Johnny Silverhand, and many more characters with their own different quest lines and with their own different gigs and with their own different dialogue options that can change your relationship with some of the characters, along with different gangs and different militia groups that add more side quests. Needless to say that this is a lot to take in. And keep in mind, I haven't even talked about the DLC yet. Another irritation I have with Cyberpunk is that there's so much to do and so much to see, yet you can beat it in less than 15 hours. I beat this game in the first 13 hours on accident and got the worst ending imaginable. I'm not even kidding. My first playthrough felt rushed and unnatural, even for an open world game like this. So I ran it back. But this time, I was going to take my time and understand and appreciate this game as a whole, rather than beat it in 13 hours, hate it, and put a review up. To make matters worse, the gameplay is also lackluster when you first start. The shooting feels like a shitty Far Cry, the stealth feels like a shitty Far Cry, the upgrade system takes forever to get the cool shit, and on top of all that, you're too broke to obtain any of the cool cybernetics. So this game isn't exactly easy to get into, which holds the game back. It's not until you play this game for 20 plus hours that you realize how fun and entertaining this game can be. In Cyberpunk, you are a mechanized human weapon that consistently adds new tech and abilities to your character by replacing your own body parts. You can add stuff like bionic blades to your arms that turn enemies into freshly cut filet mignon, or you can use something called a monowire, which is just a longer range melee weapon that is attached to your wrist, and which also allows you to whip your opponents like slaves. The Sandevistan replaces your spine, and when activated, you become so fast that you can cut a dude's head off with a katana, grab his gun, and shoot his homies with it. You can dodge attacks with personal thrusters, or just use the dash for even more mobility, and if you add the double jump to your character, you will witness a very underrated and fun movement system. I mean, this gameplay is just so fire, but what holds it back is how long it takes you to upgrade your character. I played this game for 47 hours and reached level 52, and the max level with the DLC is 60. You mean to tell me I did 132 missions, got 2 entirely different endings from the main story, and beat the DLC, and I am still 8 levels off of being max rank? Also, you have to treat this game like an RPG and make a certain build, because there are more skills than there are skill points. I didn't know that, which I low-key understand, but I also low-key don't. I mean, yes, I get why you would put a cap on players, it's so they wouldn't get too broken. But at the same time, why punish the player and lock them out of an entirely new playstyle by putting a cap on how many abilities they can have? It seems like wasted potential, especially for a game that lacks a New Game Plus feature. You may have heard that this game has made a huge comeback since launch, and I'm here to say that it truly has. But I'm gonna tell you straight up, this game is not entirely fixed, like at all. Let me go out on a limb and say that the best part about this game is the aesthetic. Just walking or driving in and out of the city looks absolutely incredible. Buildings have very detailed interiors, and NPCs have very detailed drip. Like, are y'all seeing this right now? This is a video game, by the way. If you have a pretty decent PC, I encourage you to play this game. I promise you, the visuals will blow your mind. But my #1 favorite thing to do in this game was to just turn off the HUD and drive around in a black Bugatti at night and listen to some of the Cyberpunk radio stations. I'd go as far as to say that it's more of a vibe to drive in this game than it is to drive in GTA 5 while listening to Kendrick Lamar ADHD. Like I said, this game looks amazing. Oh shit. Until you fall out of the map. Oh, this is new. Cyberpunk still has some of the most hilarious glitches and bugs that will take you out of the immersion faster than you can say immersion. The NPCs walk through walls, trucks, just any object you can think of. Trust me, they can walk through it. You'll see a bunch of them sitting on absolutely nothing. Sometimes they teleport to God knows where, just like in the trailer. Sometimes they uncontrollably pee from their own buttholes. And sometimes they just spaz out for no reason whatsoever. This one time I caught an NPC driving behind his own car and don't even get me started on the car physics. The car physics are kind of like this. But in all seriousness, I have to say that even after the Phantom Liberty DLC, Cyberpunk is still one of the most glitchy games I've ever played. And I've played Shower with Your Dad Simulator, for crying out loud. The enemies in this game are kind of cool, I guess. I mean, a lot of them are modded out with some insane tech or inside of some insane mech suit. But almost every boss fight is the exact same. You walk backwards and shoot an enemy until they die. It's really whack, not gonna lie. There are also some mini boss fights that require you to use hand-to-hand combat, which is fun, don't get me wrong, but it's not good fun, it's more like goofy fun. Even the final boss fight felt lackluster, and I played this game on hard. The stealth is decent once you get the cool shit like a silenced pistol or a throwing knife. And you can also take down enemies from just sneaking behind them or landing on top of them. It also has a more technical approach if you do an intelligence build with being able to hack into cameras and enemy biometrics. But I didn't do that because 1, I wasn't an intelligence build, and 2, because I'm not a fucking pussy. Cyberpunk overall is a good game, but there are things that are holding it back from being a great game. Night City is a great playground for players to explore and adventure. You can have sex with shawties in this game. Hey, yo! You can have sex with dudes in this game. Hey, yo! You can perform in a band. You can crucify a man. I can see that this was made with heart and soul by the developers and the cast members that contributed to building not just the main story, but the Phantom Liberty DLC. I first got one of the worst endings in the game, which is the devil ending, and I finished the game with one of the better endings, which is the star ending. So I can safely say that the Phantom Liberty DLC is just better than the main story because of its pacing and plot. But at the same time, this entire game's pacing is off because there's 100 hours of content, yet you can beat it in less than 15 hours, which technically makes it side missions the game. But anyways, Cyberpunk is the comeback kid of video games though, and is worth buying now. 4 out of 6. Choom is just nigga in Night City.